Today, we're stepping right into the ring for what's gotta be the most anticipated tech showdown of the year.
So, picture this, early August 2025, and bam, the AI world gets hit with two massive releases, one right after the other. We've got Anthropix Claude Opus 4.1 and OpenAI's GPT-5. So for all you developers and power users out there, the big question is, which one should you bet on for your project? Okay, let's dive into this.
All right, first up, let's meet our fighters. In one corner, we've got the much-hyped challenger, GPT-5. OpenAI is selling this thing as a total game changer. And in the other corner, we have Claude Opus 4.1, the precision-engineered specialist from Anthropix who's already built a serious reputation for being a coding beast.
All right, round one. Let's start with the tail of the tape. How do these two actually stack up on paper?
Okay, so check this out. When you look at the official benchmark, this is for fixing real-world coding problems, mind you, it's practically a dead heat. We're talking a difference of just 0.4%. So on paper, you'd think, great, they're basically the same. But, and this is a big but, as we're going to see, benchmarks really don't tell the whole story.
All right, round two. Look, every single developer out there knows that raw performance is only half the battle, right? The other half? It's the price tag. And this is where things get really interesting. Whoa, just take a look at these API costs. For input tokens, you've got GPT-5 at $1.25 per million, but then look at Claude Opus, 4.1, $15. And it gets even crazier when you look at the output tokens. But to really feel the impact of what that gap means, let's try to put it into perspective.
And here it is, plain and simple. We're talking about a 10 times cost difference roughly. For a lot of API-driven tasks, Claude is just so much more expensive than GPT-5. And that's not just a small detail. That's a huge factor that could literally make or break a project, whether it's big or small.
Okay, so here's where we're at. The specs are nearly a tie, but the price is worlds apart. So, what's it actually like to use these things in the real world? To find out, we dove headfirst into the trenches, the developer forums on Reddit, to get the raw, unfiltered truth.
And right away, we see a pattern. For those really complex, build-it-from-scratch kind of projects, some users are saying that GPT-5 can be, destructive. Even when you give it super careful instructions, it just goes for it.
But on the flip side, users are finding that Claude absolutely shines when you throw something weird at it. Like niche or really unique coding languages that probably weren't a huge part of its training. It shows this incredible ability to just learn on the fly.
But wait, the story takes another turn when you get to front-end development. Here, a lot of developers are singing GPT-5's praises. They say it has this amazing ability to visualize what the final user interface is actually going to look like.
And then, someone else comes along with the exact opposite experience. They found that, GPT-5 was smart enough to spot a bug in their React code, but it just couldn't fix it. They actually had to pass the problem over to Claude to get the job done. So what's the big takeaway here? The experience seems to be wildly inconsistent.
So what in the world is going on here? If the models are so close on paper, why are the real-world results all over the map? If it's not just the model, what else is at play? Well, this leads us to the big reveal of this entire showdown.
It turns out the secret weapon here isn't just the AI model itself. It's something called the agentic coding wrapper. That's the tool or interface, like a command line tool, that sits between you and the AI. Basically, think of it as the model's entire toolkit and command center, managing all the prompts and context for a coding job.
And this is what so many developers are pointing to. They're saying that Anthropix wrapper Claude Code is this super polished, powerful tool. Meanwhile, they feel OpenAI's Codex CLI is, kind of clumsy and inefficient. And that huge difference in the tooling, that could be exactly what's causing all these performance gaps that users are seeing.
All right, we've reached the final bell. So after all of that, who should you have in your corner? Well, it looks like the judges have a split decision. And it really all boils down to one thing. What exactly are you trying to build?
So let's break it down. What does this all mean for your project? Here's the bottom line. You should probably choose GPT-5 if your #1 concern is budget, or if you need something fast and versatile for popular frameworks, like React or Next.js. It's great for building MVPs or for rapid prototyping, and especially if your project involves stuff like UI mockups. But you should go with Claude Opus 4.1 if you're working on a really complex, multi-file codebase where you need that deep context understanding. If your project uses a niche or custom tech stack, or if performance and reliability are just way more important than cost, then Claude's precision, even with that high price tag, is probably your champion.
And that really leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought, doesn't it? As these incredibly powerful models get more and more evenly matched on paper, maybe the real race isn't about building the smartest AI anymore. Maybe it's about building the best tools, the best interfaces that can actually tame these beasts and unleash their full potential.